Hey there everybody, how's it going? I just thought I would try to do some commentaries for my own education, edification, and amusement on some invasions. Now you might ask yourself, why would a gentleman ever consider doing a commentary on a game as old as Dark Souls 3? It's almost 3 years old. Well, the truth is that I think that for the first year to 2 years I was not particularly good at this game. And at this point, I feel like in the past year, I've begun to get pretty capable, I guess. And I just really am curious about finding what I can accomplish in this game with the tools that I have at hand. And I think part of it was recording my own boss fights in PvE. And so in this case, I want to do that for PvP. I was watching Iamamish, and I've been watching lots of streams, and I noticed that I had gotten better at invasions, and that's fun. That's enjoyable. So I wanted to see what I could do better. Now this is an SL44 Faith build. No, not a Faith build, but it's SL44 base stats for the weapons, mostly. I'm probably going to change a few things. I'm rocking a deep infused longsword, and as you can see, this guy's way too eager. I'm chasing him down. I guard break him because he's exhausted his stamina and he's gone. The deep infusion was really excellent, and this is the first time I've invaded with a deep infusion. Somebody was like, yeah, use deep if you're going to be a low-level invader, and so I decided I would, because dark damage, as everyone knows, is kind of considered the gold standard for damage in PvP. It's generally a safe bet, or you can use a fire weapon, you know. And why would I use deep or fire at this level as opposed to dark or chaos? It's because I don't have scaling. I'm point starved. At SL44, you're better off building for survivability than you are trying to get good scaling on your weapons. You know, this isn't SL120 or 70 or even 56. Now he's got a bleed weapon, and what I should do is back off just long enough to use the the red moss that I have equipped, but for some reason I was too flummoxed and distracted to do it, but it didn't make any difference. In a lot of ways I think I was too aggressive, and I didn't have it equipped, so it shows what I know. And you see, having the right equipment on you is always good. I also need to keep my inventory cleaner, but this is a build that I'm just trying out, and I haven't really sat down to get to the nitty-gritty of setting the rings and setting, you know, the weapons I have on hand. Right now I'm invading at Irithyll. SL44 at Irithyll +6 is really enjoyable. It's what I've seen people like Saint Riot and Ghost Hardware and who else? Revion and possibly Pincognito have been doing. So I sat down in the last part of my vacation, had someone drop off the rings that I wanted, and I built a new Invader. So I don't need to use dark buffs on this, so that saves me time as well, so I think that's a good call. I'm just sorting my inventory. Inventory sorting is usually the mark of a experienced invader. I really haven't done it, just like having your invader orb in your tool belt seems to be something a lot of experienced invaders do, and I didn't even start doing that for 2 years, and I've been invading in a half-assed fashion off and on since game launch. So, you know, here I am running around saying, please, please, let me get an invasion. I know it's there, and I'm really going to fight terribly against this Pontiff Knight, because I don't care. I'm just really just being overly aggressive. I know better than to do what I'm doing, and yet I'm just kind of interested to see how many hits my guy can take, you know, take a licking and keep on ticking. And so I'm just killing time until I have my Jolly Rancher pop and get to what I want. Now I think I'm going to go respec my 18 points in dex that I was using on the Lothric Knight Sword, and probably put it into strength so I can carry a Great Knight Shield, HP, endurance, and vitality of some sort. I think that'll be a better use than having those points in dexterity. I'll probably go to 13. I'm not quite sure if that's what I'm going to do, but I think I'd like to be able to use an offhand deep infused claymore. There's only 2 Jeep gems in the base game. I have a deep skimmeter that I'm also working on right now. It's not a priority because this was a day where my invasion time was rather limited. I was going to go off to Home Depot with my wife. So, you know, real life does impact one's ability to do some invasions. Now, let's see if I recall this invasion. This, I think, might have been a bonfire duel. This guy's just hanging out at the bonfire when I eventually find him. And if I'm wrong, then nope, I am wrong. These guys are entirely too aggressive, but I'm also too aggressive. I think I should be more circumspect. But again, I'm really testing out this invader. I'm trying to find out how tough I am, and I want to punish that heal. I do let that guy get up my back, but I immediately try to get away from it. And of course, I do know I have backup in the Pontiff Knights. Now, I kind of fear that big machete, so if I can kill him, I'm going to. And I do. So, you know, chasing down, it's what's for breakfast. And that's another successful invasion. I don't really enjoy pointing down. I try to be nice about it. That's just what I do. Though I have sat on someone's head. I had the worst running, laggiest, non-fighting punk host, and it took me forever, and he was skating all over the map, so I just, when I finally got him and put him down, I sat on his head Patches style. You know, nothing like a good teabag to show how you really feel. And my inventory, every time it pops up, I think, ugh, I gotta clear it out. I think this is the guy who was essentially waiting around to duel me at the bonfire. I know some people are like, whatever, bonfire duels, not cool. Because, you know, you are at a disadvantage in many ways. You'll have less firepower, you'll have less health, you'll have less heals. Since I've pretty much gone through the entire game, I'm actually pretty evenly based, I think. So that doesn't really hold true in this case if it's a solo host. I believe it is. If there's anything I can say about my playstyle that will be used against me, it's just I keep wading in like a bruiser. I keep wading in like a guy taking punches. This is not like Money Mayweather. And for a second that phantom confuses me on the right, and I think maybe there's a second guy. But I realize, nope, just me. So he's coming at me, and I'm like, okay, so I punish him. You know, shield protects me. Now, because I have a chip damage, that shield isn't as good as he would like it to be. And so I feel like I have an advantage, and I just keep pressure up. Now, I feel like, you know, I can avoid that. I think that's an ultra right there. It's kind of small right now. But he parries me. And I'm like, oh, darn. And that's my fault, because I should only be doing maybe 2 swipes at a time. Just 2. Unfortunately, I just go R1, R1, R1. And I need to get better at when a person parries me like that and fails, I need to punish him with a backstab. I need to go for his back. And I'm not really doing that. That is a mistake. Anyway, raw aggression nonetheless manages to carry the day. On the other hand, I took a lot more punching than I wanted to. Let's see, what will we have here? I've got a dark hand on there. I think I should really be better off just having 2 weapons, because I'm really not as good at managing it as I would like. I think I would like to also get eventually an offhand weapon. Those seem awfully useful for chase downs and for punishing whiffs once I get better at spacing. My spacing is, I don't think it's that good. I've seen worse. I've seen much, much better. You know, I find that if I watch other very excellent PvPers and watch them control the space by knowing the range of the weapons, right up to the phantom range, that they can pretty much skate around those weapons and punish whiffs and plan on punishing them. I hadn't really seen it possible until just the past few days, so now that I know it's possible, I'm going to try to do it. Now, I'm looking for this invader. And I feel like this invasion went way too long. I mean, I had a few good fights, to be honest. I think, in retrospect, he may have been up the stairs. But I didn't look that way. And I pretty much will cover the entire level. And that gave them more time to get prepared for me, to summon in the blues, which I think are going to be coming on, and that's fine. I like fighting blues. I managed to get over every blue that I encounter in this fight. That's not a commentary about blues being good or bad, it's just these particular blues were not particularly well matched for me in the way that I was playing and equipped today. Sword and board is not necessarily my favorite playstyle, it's just the default orthodox Dark Souls style. I find that this is probably a great way to begin learning to invade better and to analyze my thoughts. Now I see he's not down there, so I go running all the way this way, and then I realize that, oh, it's the Powery Police, and there's gonna be some possible ganking situations coming up. Now, I don't really fear the blues. I mean, all you can do is die. If 3 people kill you, so what? You can survive 3 people, and, you know, chances are is that if you've got as much time in the game as I do, and you want to learn to do better, and you're sitting around watching other people play, and you're watching yourself play, and considering how you could do better, chances are is that the other folks are not doing that, and you'll probably be able to get the upper hand on them with not too much trouble. So I'm really looking forward to finding this blue. And here he is. I see he's got an Ultra Great Sword, the Ultra Great Sword. And I don't know, I don't feel like he's really that well set up to fight at this level with this Ultra Great Sword. The proof is in the pudding. He's easy to avoid. I'm staying out of range, trying to bait attacks, and he wants me to go in through that door, probably so he can get a good swing at me. I throw a knife at him. I'm just, you know, letting him know I'm there, getting that chip damage in, trying to manage my stamina, running in when I can. Eventually I'm going to try to do this, jump through and go for his back. He knows that I'm after it, so he goes for a parry. I should have punished that if I could. I'm staying close, mostly so I can keep the pressure up. He doesn't have that much stamina, so I feel like if he doesn't get that parry on me, if I'm not doing more than 2 strikes, I should be able to out-punish him. Now this right here, I probably would have died there if I had been a little less lucky. Now I get that his back right here, and that's the end of him. So, Ultra Great Sword users, if they're not really aware of their back and really unpredictable, it's a good chance that you can get at the back. I don't think I'm any great shakes at backstab fishing. I just saw that I had an Ultra Great there, and so I wanted to get at his back. And of course, once people know that you will go after their back, they will be more honest, and they will be more, if they're experienced, a little more circumspect about going for the parries. And then I realized that maybe the guy's this way. Honestly, I have no idea where this guy was. He could have been to my right. That might have been it. But since I didn't see Creighton the Invader happening, I figured that maybe he would be this way. So I go marching on my merry way, and I kind of look there, decide otherwise. That might have been better for me to do. I think I should have been more meticulous in my searching. Then I see that, and I figure he's got to be up in front of me somewhere. I find some bodies, so I feel like I'm on the right track. Check my Estus. And, okay, so he's obviously sped by here. He might have been to my right. But I figure this place up here will be a good place for me to be. If he's not this way already, he should be eventually. Now, if you've played Dark Souls 3 a few times and you know your levels somewhat well, you know that this is not a place that you want to just run into. In my experience, I don't run into it, or I will just run through it. But you don't just run up in it and just go buck wild. You know, there's a lot of enemies up here, and they will swarm. It's a quintessential gank situation. So, the next thing I do is I'm going up here, And I do not see when I get in there. I'm like, why is that Silver Knight there? And oh yeah, real life I think impinged here. I got asked a question by my wife. Again, real life can impact your invading, and I see that isn't one there at all. Where is the Silver Knight? I figure that the Silver Knight must have died at some point in some way in the playthrough. I'm not sure when or where. I can see that he has not gone up these stairs. So I'm feeling spiteful at this time, and I'm thinking to myself, where could he be? I have only a little bit of time left. I would like to, get as many invasions as I can. So I'm kind of a victim of my own impatience, but I'm feeling spiteful here. So if they decide to just run up here and try to capture that elevator and get past the dogs, they're going to be in for an unpleasant surprise. And that's something you should always think about, is just, if you're ahead of the level, go ahead and screw things up for them. I mean, I don't know if this person knows the level at all, but most of the time I know that I can just run to that elevator and escape the dogs. So that's what I do. I don't fight up the steps anymore. But if that invader had been there and had been, worth his druthers, he would have gone and done that. You don't owe them anything. You don't have any reason to be nice. You'll run into people with few ultra great swords and all kinds of crazy twinked out end-game gear. So, to heck with them, or more pointedly, to hell with them. Fuck them. Fuck them, fuck them, fuck them. Because most of the time, you're going to be outgunned. And he's got 2 blues with him. I have no idea where he is. I'm guessing he has to come this way eventually. And oh, there's another blue on the way. So now it's going to be a 3 versus 1. But again, I've decided that this is the place where I'm going to make my stand. It's kind of slow. The water can slow people down. And I'll have all those unpleasant, creepy, crawly bastards in there that can really just rock your world if you're not careful. And they see me, and I think they probably prefer that I come outside. But of course, I'm not stupid. I'm not going to go out there. Again, I don't owe them anything. So I just sit there. And it's kind of a narrow field. So I think to myself, I know, I'll throw this at them. Now, this is a very aggressive host, and this is going to be his undoing, and this is how I'm going to win. So he starts running in there. Of course, his blues, for whatever reason, are a little bit timid. They should have ran in front. If they'd been more aggressive, I might have been dead. But, of course, they didn't. So I just run up. I take some damage, but I see that that host can't heal, so I kill him. And I win my 3v1, because I don't have to kill all of them, though that's nice. I just have to kill the host. And the host, he ran ahead into a place filled with enemies, allowed himself to get separated, allowed himself to not hang back, even though he couldn't heal, and he died. Nothing particularly brilliant about that invasion. It's just they didn't do anything particularly wise. Now I'm thinking, maybe I've played out my rope here. I look around. I think, where will I go next? Most of the mid-game is pretty great. I decide that I'm going to go to the Abyss Watcher's bonfire and start evading Karthus. There are some fights here that I think I could have done better on. Kind of disappointed with, not that I lost, but I feel like I just took way too many hits. Again, I have that aggressive, punch-taking mentality that a more experienced player, had I run into them, would have been able to exploit. There was at least one instance here where I shouldn't have gotten away. So, hold on, I'm going to go ahead and speed things up a little bit. As soon as I can, I'm going to crush my Jolly Rancher, and I'm going to get in the thick of it. Karthus is a great place for invasions. It's a great place to use the Cat Ring, the Obscuring Ring. You've got nasty enemies that can support you. You've got lots of places where hosts and yourself can just fall off and die, so that's all to the good. So let's see. Now that we're in the invasion, what's happening? First thing I do, I scout around. I see we've got enemies alive here, so that's good. I go and look towards the entrance. They're dead. Okay, that's a clue. I guess they didn't take the shortcut. I'm supposing that they just charged right in. So the next thing that I do is I go this way, and I want to see if the skeleton ball is rolling. It appears to possibly have done so. I can see that this guy's dead, so there's that. And there they are. Now, they don't seem to be paying too much attention to me, and I got on the host back immediately, so I start the attack right away. I really feel like maybe I should have paid more attention to the gold, but right there, he's on his own, and I managed to tag him just a little bit. Just enough, I think, to kill him. Whatever the case is, I set him up for a failure, and the host is now fleeing. I'm not sure why he's fleeing the way that he does, but I decided I'm going to just drop the shield. I'm not particularly sure if that made any real difference. I was wondering if it made any difference on my stamina regeneration. I don't really think it does. Anyway, he's still healing. I'm still pressuring him. Trying to prevent his healing. I think I got him. He seems to be wearing the Karthus milk ring. He's already playing on the edge. And of course he's just panic rolling, reaction rolling, and then he starts fighting back, and so I start rolling too. It would have been better if I'd been spacing. Spacing would have done better, but again, it worked just fine. Really, I'm thinking about getting some sort of chase down offhand weapon on this character. Some sort of hand axe, maybe fire, maybe the harp, which until the last week I had never seen in my life. So it was really kind of shocking to see. I was like, what is this weapon? It's called the harp. I don't believe in many playthroughs I've ever had one drop. And if it did, I forgot about it. I've had Corvian Great Knives drop, I've seen scythes, but that, complete mystery to me. I don't think I've seen it in PvP, though I hear it has some popularity. That's what I'm thinking about. I was like, what would I like to use in my offhand? Maybe I'll use this Lothric Knight Sword. I don't know. It doesn't seem bad, actually. Maybe I'll just use the Dark Hand. But since, my time is limited, I'm just going to stick with the sword and board setup. And I'm going to go right into this next invasion. And I've aggroed the skeleton. This is just me being stupid. So I just go ahead and put down the skeleton. And I go to the next invasion. Nope, I'm still dealing with the stupid skeleton. And here we go. I'm still thinking about this two-handed moveset. I think that actually has some value, but I'm not ready to go and do it. This host, I don't believe, was easily found. Maybe we were just rolling by one another. I can see he's obviously not gone down this way. Unless he just decided to skip that, but there's a bone shard there, I believe, so I don't believe anyone would do that. But I'm going to go ahead and look. Maybe he ran to the bonfire. No, the skeletons are still there, waiting to spawn. Nonetheless, I just want to be doubly sure. I'm also trying to think about how I can use these arrows to fire at hosts later on in other invasions. Using that level. Hopefully, maybe someday I can get some guys to just chase me down. And I can nail them with those arrows. So I go up. I'm beginning to think about the boulder. Think better than going right up there like that. If you're too hasty and you have expectations of things being different, you can get a nasty surprise. That could have killed me right there by knocking me off or just done a lot of damage. I don't see him. So I go up here. Don't see them this way. I see that the enemies are still at the beginning. So maybe he used the shortcut. It doesn't quite look like he used the shortcut. That's what I gathered by that quick glance. I see that, something's happening, but that's just the boulder knocking people around. The AI is kind of dumb. So I'm guessing this guy is It's my guess is as good as anyone's. Maybe he's hoping that I die, but he has not used the shortcut. It is not open. I don't find him this way. He might have been up the ladder, but I just decided to go run all the way back this way, because I think maybe he's gone to where you can find Henri and the twinkling Titanite lizard. Because he did get the boulder running. Oh, and I get clipped by the boulder. Now, this is just going to be an ugly, ugly fight for me. Not my best and wisest situation ever. Doesn't look like he's here, so then I come right back up. I see him. I think he's got a speedrunner looking setup. You know, he's got those twin blades, and they're doing good damage. He's wearing the Herald's armor, so you know, first thing I think is that maybe this person was practicing speedrunning, and that I invaded him. So who knows what they were doing? But I'm taking good damage, and I'm being a little bit too aggressive. It just doesn't seem like my best move, and so I'm trading with him, and this just feels stupid. I should let him bang himself out on my shield, and for whatever reason, I don't do that. But he can't quite put away the game. Really, I should not have this much trouble with it, and every time I watch it, I just think, why am I being so aggressive? Why am I allowing myself to take so much damage? It's obviously not working, so if something is not working, the first thing I do is I think I should change it up. Now, what am I going to change? I'm not sure yet. But at this point, I've decided that he's very aggressive. I'm going to let him use that against himself. I'm going to heal up. And then I'm like, you know what? I got the parry. That's probably what I should have done earlier. And then I decided that that weapon's pretty quick. I'm going to just go ahead and use a quick attack on him as well. And eventually I circle around him using my shield to protect myself, and I get him. Now he's on the run, and he's dead. Still, it shouldn't have taken that long. It should have gone much faster. But it was a good fight, and it's given me a lot to reflect on. It's not that difficult to take that out with a shield. I was just not using my setup wisely. I was too aggressive. I was trying to trade with him, and I kept doing it until I said, it's not working. I need to do something else. I don't know what I'm going to do, but it needs to be something else. Now, because I have 3 weapons on hand, I kind of circle away to my Bleed Bandit knife and my Dark Hand. I think I should just have one. I've said that before. I think this might be the last invasion. It's not terribly exciting. Some people, they just run away. Now, you can do a skip here in Karthus. And I think that this guy, I think, wanted to just wait for me to run up on him, possibly survive this jump that he's going to do, and die. Personally, I was thinking that I would just follow him all the way down and kill him with a plunging attack. However, I don't know if he was set up for success with that falling attack or not, because I haven't actually done that sort of fall. But here I am, looking around, trying to find, what am I going to do? Where could he be? There are enemies in front of me, so he's obviously, most likely, has not come this way yet. And eventually, I spot him at the very beginning of the level up here. I wasn't really sure what he was wanting to do. I have nothing but speculation on my part. And I see him, and I'm going to start running. And at first, it looks like he's playing the level. Oh, yeah, I remember this guy. He actually fights. I might not have had the guy where the guy just plunged. Now, he's got a sword, and he's got a board, no problem. He's trying to get at my back. We trade. I try to punish him. I'm getting some chip damage in. Chip damage is great for, you know, maintaining pressure. He's running at me. He keeps rolling, trying to get by me. he's trying to do the weapon art. Weapon art is pretty good on the straight swords. I should use it more. But right now I've just got him on the run, and I think it's partially because that the deep sword does a lot of chip damage, and it just makes people unnerved that even behind a shield you're gonna get clipped. And so, you know, there's a lot from these that I think I learned. I hope that you found this interesting. Have a great day. Bye.